Senate Armed Services Committee. Jack Reed of Rhode Island. Thank you so much for being here, Senator. First, I do want to get your reaction to the death of these 3 U.S. service members who lost their lives in this operation in Iran.
Well, the greatest strength of this country are the men and women in uniform who sacrifice everything so that we can enjoy the blessings of liberty. And their loss is a grievous loss to all of us, but particularly to their families. So at this moment, we have to consider their mothers, their fathers, their spouses, and thank them also for the sacrifice. But it's the cost of war, and it's a real cost. It's not something that you can just dispose of and say it's one of those things.
Yeah, it sure is a real cost. Senator, you have been critical of these strikes for several reasons. You say the president never made the case for the war to the public. You say he never sought congressional authority, and he has no end game. Of those 3, what concerns you the most?
Well, they all concern me because we are now in a gamble. And we're in a situation in which the president has not clearly articulated what is his real goal and how will he achieve it. So there's a lot of ambiguity, I think, even within the administration of what comes next. Then I think you have a situation where, once again, he has shown disdain for the Constitution. The Constitution gives Congress the sole authority to declare war. The president entered a war without approval, in fact, even without a good explanation of what he intended to do. And so we're in a situation now where it's ad hoc. It's not a strategic initiative, well planned, and it'll have consequences not just in the Middle East, but throughout the globe.
Senator, we have seen presidents of both parties use the military to strike nations without congressional approval. So this is not new. Why do you think this is different?
Well, it's not new. You're exactly right. In fact, one instance in which the president came to Congress was George W. Bush for the war in Iraq. I voted against it because I thought it had similar potential difficulties as this operation. But you're right. On both sides have sort of taken their power and try to craft some type of novel interpretations of the law. But we've seen a president who consistently ignores congressional will, impounding funds, firing people that without notifying Congress or giving sufficient time for us to react. It's part of his everyday moment, but when you get to the point of going into a war, which I don't think at this point anyone can truly judge the outcomes, you need advice and consent from Congress.
So if that comes before you, the consent part of this, maybe even some advice, and there is a vote on presidential war powers, how will you vote?
Well, I would vote to require the president to, within 30 days, either conclude the operation or to cease military operations. Unless, and we made it very clear in the legislation, it requires the defense of Israel, because that is a sworn obligation of the United States, and that is recognized. So we want to get back to a situation where we can hopefully take over with non-kinetic means our efforts to frustrate the Iranian government and literally put them back in the box.
On that note, the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says that the strikes on Iran will continue and will increase in the coming days. So it sounds like this operation isn't close to ending anytime soon.
Well, I think that's right. And I think what we're seeing also, and what you vividly illustrated, is that the Iranians feel in a position that all they can do is retaliate, that if they just step aside, as they essentially did after Operation Midnight Hammer, then they will be thoroughly degraded. So this is a battle that's going to go on with more casualties, many of them innocent casualties. And I don't think we're going to get what we want. If regime change is the president's goal, if even ameliorating the condition of the Iranian people is his goal, That cannot be done, I think, historically, unless you put troops on the ground. And he's said we're not going to do that. You know, we bombed Europe with the 8th Air Force for years, tons and tons, and it took D-Day and a year-long struggle to finally change the regime in Berlin.
Well, that's my next question is, do you think that regime change with air power alone is remotely possible?
I don't think it's remotely possible because you could have a chaotic situation, but in Iran, over 40 years, they have built up a suppressive state in which there is very little organized resistance, very little communication. What we saw a few weeks ago was spontaneous demonstrations. In fact, you saw them last evening, some people celebrating the death of Khomeini. But there's not a coordinated institutional hook that we can grab hold of and exploit at this point. Now, we have to see day by day what emerges. Is the next leader of Iran more temperate or more harsh? That remains to be seen. But at this point, the sense is that they're going to fight until they exhaust their munitions. And ironically, we might be in that same position. We have, as our chairman of the Joint Chiefs warned, this would be a tremendous drain on our munitions, and we might have to stop simply because we have no more effective ammunition supplies.
Before I let you go, President Trump said this morning that the attacks are ahead of schedule. As the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, do you know what that means? What is the schedule?
No, I don't think the president knows. Also, by the way, the schedule will take you to a destination. It's yet clear what destination he's seeking. If it's the, overthrow of that regime and the humanitarian uplifting of the people of Iran, we're far from ahead of schedule.
Senator Jack Reed, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Donna.
Up next, as the Mideast faces an uncertain future.